Hey, it's Mike Ambright with FlipNerd.com. Welcome back for another exciting VIP interview where I interview some of the most successful real estate investing experts and entrepreneurs in the industry to help you learn and grow. Today, I'm joined by Corey Peterson. He's a single-family and multifamily real estate investor that decided to leave his day job and start from scratch less than 10 years ago. And he was met with a lot of obstacles. And today, we're going to talk about how to just dive in and make your dreams happen, which is exactly what Corey's done. So before we get started, though, let's take a moment to recognize our featured sponsors. RealtyMogul.com is an online marketplace for real estate investing, connecting borrowers and capital from accredited and institutional investors. Get a rehab loan fast and close in as little as 10 days. Rates start as low as 9%. We'd also like to thank National Real Estate Insurance Group, the nation's leading provider of insurance to the residential real estate investor market. From individual properties to large-scale investors, National Real Estate Insurance Group is ready to serve you. Please note, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in this program do not necessarily reflect those of FlipNerd.com or any of its partners, advertisers, or affiliates. Please consult professionals before making any investment or tax decisions, as real estate investing can be risky. Hey, Corey, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Good to have you on. So a lot of folks probably realize that before we start each show, we chat for a little bit, and sometimes I have guests on that were referrals from previous guests, which is a situation with you. So we hadn't even talked before, but I know you've got a great story to share today. So glad you're here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, I guess where you are today, and then let's go back to how this all started less than 10 years ago when you'd never invested in any real estate in your whole life.
Well, cool. Yeah. So where I'm at today is I own 3 multifamily properties. I have a 144 unit property in South Carolina. I have 118 unit in Atlanta. I own a 70 unit apartment complex in Tucson. I did it with OPM, other people's money.
Yep.
And, I'm on paper, I'm a multimillionaire.
That's great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I know from our discussion that your properties are cash flowing really well too. So it's nice when you get to a place to where everything you think about is, what do I want to do? Because I don't necessarily have to work anymore. And I know it's a great place to be. But I know that's not how you started out. So tell us. Let's take it from the top. Tell us about where you started at.
I grew up in a small town in Missouri called West Plains, Missouri, which is more than it deserves. I grew up on a 180-acre farm, and I grew up, I would say, looking back, I grew up poor. Not that that means anything, but I want to let you know that I started really, I was not voted most likely to succeed in school. But the only thing I actually was really good at was copying. And my teachers didn't like that too much.
Yeah.
But I found out in my adult life, it's the best trait I ever had. Because all I've done, I was good enough if I was going to copy, I always at least made sure I copied from the smart people. And so in my business life, I just copied successful investors.
Yeah.
And just like what we're sharing information today, I would take good information and act upon it. So how I started off, I actually read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 2004. And really, that's the book that changed my life.
Yeah.
I the download from the mothership and said, real estate's the deal. And so then for the next year, all I did was read every book I could ever find. Barnes & Noble, they loved me.
Yeah.
Because I bought every book on the shelf. And I became a book-read investor. And so in 2005, I made the plunge. I started my own business called Kahuna Investments because I wanted to be the big kahuna. Right?
So talk a little bit about, before you go any further, tell us a little bit about, there's so many people that read a lot of books. They are well educated in academically in what they need to do, but they never get over that hump of getting out of the gate. And it's usually some sort of fear or not enough pain associated with where they're at. So kind of talk about, what made you different to take action, because I know you've taken massive action since then, and,
right.
and maybe give some tips for people that have read all the books at, now they're ordering them all on Amazon because you probably can't find a Barnes & Noble anywhere. But
exactly.
Just talk about that kind of getting over that hump of taking action.
For me, because I only had a high school degree, when you only have a high school diploma, there's only like two things you can do. You got to work for a living really hard, or you got to manage something.
Yeah.
Or actually, there's the third option, which is what I really wanted to do, was be my own business owner. And so I always really wanted to be a business owner. My dad was a business owner, so it was deep in my mind. But what got me over the hump was just tired of taking crap from the man, and being, in that place where, you just always looking up and seeing someone right behind you or right in front of you, and it didn't smell good. And so I think that dissatisfaction led me to the point where I was ready to take action and start something for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I took action. I started my company, and then I read a book that said, "Hey, refinance your home, get some equity, some money, and start the deal." So that's what I did. I went and got a home equity loan. I got like $30,000 of cash, and I opened up the phone book and went to credit unions. Because at the time, before that, I sold cars for a living. And I always realized that credit unions were really easy to work with. They seemed like they were smaller banks, and I could get to the decision maker quicker.
Right.
So American Airlines Credit Union, that's like the first one, right?
All right.
I ended up creating a source there, and she sourced me 3 or 4 really good deals. So I bought them, and then what happened was I ran into my first obstacle. I flipped a couple, and then I bought 3, and I ran out of money.
Yeah. Now, you said they helped you source deals. Were these like foreclosures at a credit union?
Yeah, they were bank owned. They were
okay.
From the bank, from the credit union. This was like 2005.
All right.
I bought them. Actually, I still own them today.
Yeah.
These 3 that I have, I still own them. They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I still own them. And they still cash flow every month.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So I turned them into rentals, and they actually turned out to be recession proof. Thank God.
Yeah.
But so then I ran out of money. I didn't have any more money to do deals, and I actually quit my job. So now I had no income to show to the bank to get any more new loans. And I hadn't read a book to tell me how to get out of that.
Yeah.
And so I went back to work, and I got a job as a financial advisor. So at this point, then we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. So I was in Oklahoma at that point, moved to Phoenix. Now, at this point, I'm still not rich. I just filed bankruptcy in 2003, right? So bankruptcy 2003. Obviously, my credit's not that good.
Yeah.
That was the business that failed. But it's okay. You only have to be successful one time, right? And life is a journey of many mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the better you get, right? Yeah. So then so I'm a financial advisor in Phoenix, and then the Great Recession happens. And what a horrible time to be a financial advisor.
Yeah.
But what a blessing. I worked for Edward Jones, and as an Edward Jones financial advisor, you start out door knocking. You go door to door every day. You have to knock a tremendous amount of doors, and it's networking.
Yeah.
So the one thing that business taught me is how to meet people and engage them, and how to stay in contact with them. It was the best business coaching I could have ever got for free, and I got to make some money at it.
Yeah.
But what happened was the market tanked, and the only reason I got a job was so I could buy more real estate.
Right.
That was always truly my passion.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to. I hadn't learned the secret of OPM yet.
Yeah.
Other people's money.
Right.
So quit my job. So the market crashed to an all-time low, and every book I'd ever read, and you could probably attest to this,
Yep.
all the big guys, Trump, Kiyosaki, David Allen, they all made their biggest gains in down markets.
Absolutely.
And this was one of the biggest we've ever had, at least in my lifetime. And so I sat there at my office one day, depressed, tired of hearing people come in and cry about their financial situation, and I had enough. And so I sat there and I made a gut-wrenching commitment that day at my work, and I was going to do real estate full time. I was going to quit, and then I had to go home and tell the wife after I'd quit, before I'd told her. So she looked at me with loving eyes, and she said, "You better not fail." And she meant it. And so, was I committed? Yes, I absolutely was, because I love my wife and I love my kids and family, and I know, bringing home the bacon is part of the deal.
Right.
So I took that, and I learned that I didn't have any money, didn't have any credit. So where did I start? Wholesaling was the only thing I could do. The only thing that I was really good at is I learned how to lock up and find property, and I was good at it. So I would lock up properties, and by the way, so we talked about networking. Once I made the switch to real estate full time, I got so engrossed in networking into my local RIAs. Anytime there was anybody speaking on real estate, I was there 24/7. And I met some great people with money. And one of the secrets that I learned is when you're new to a group like that, you go to the guy hosting the group and you just say, hey, I'm new here. Who's some of the players? Can you point out a couple players? And they always will give you a couple or two. And then guess what? Guess who was sitting by him that day? Me. So we talk about the power of networking, right? And what Edward Jones taught me was amazing, because what I did is I went to every networking event available for real estate guys. So all my local RIAs, all the anything, when they're speaking about real estate, I was there. And one of the secrets that I learned is when you're new to a group like that, you go in and you find whoever's hosting the event, and you kind of pull them off to the side and you say, hey, who's the players in the room? Can you point out a couple? And they always do.
Yeah.
And then my happy was sitting right next to him. And I was like a damn order taker, because this was like easy. Hey, so where do you do deals? Okay, well, what kind of size deals do you like? How much rehab do you like? A little or a lot?
Right.
And I'm just kind of, every real investor, any player knows their deal. They know what kind of deals they like, where they like to buy, how much spread they like to make. I ask all these questions. And we're just doing it in a normal conversation, like I'm just generally interested anyways.
Right.
But I just compiled a whole list of what this guy likes, where he likes to buy. And so then at the end, I'm like, well, guess what? I'm a wholesaler, and I find properties just like this each and every day. Would you be willing to pay me, like a $4,000 or $5,000 wholesaling fee if I could find a deal that looks like just like you said? Mm-hmm. They all say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I did, man. I started off as a wholesaler because that's where I had to start.
Right.
I had no money, no credit, and few contacts. Right. So, but I got really good. Now, the one thing I learned other than that is I video recorded every deal I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Still, I can pull up my Dropbox account and I can show you, hey, here's Corey. Hey, Corey Peterson, over here at so-and-so crap hole property. And, I'd do it, here's this old crapper. Look at all this stuff that's wrong. This is a gold mine, right? And then I would wholesale it to the other guy. And then I'd go in and while he was rehabbing it and take videos of it for myself.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Corey Peterson. We got guys working on this property.
Yep.
And what I did, though, is I created my track record.
Right.
And you got to have a track to get private money. You got to have a track record. You have to show that you've done it and been there. Now, these were never my deals, but they were my deals. I just wholesaled them because I didn't have enough money to capitalize on them. And so I wholesaled the deals. I tracked them. When they sold them, I tracked the sell price, and I showed the profit. So I knew exactly how they shook out. And so I did that consistently, and I built a pretty good track record. And all of a sudden, what it gave me was confidence. Because, coming from no credit, not a whole lot of monies, sometimes people's confidence can be kind of shaky.
Yeah.
And even though you've read all the books, you kind of know what to do, you're still, until you get into real estate and start playing the game, you're on the sidelines.
Right.
And so I did everything I could just to stay in the game, stay active. Even though I was only making $3,000 or $4,000 a deal, put 3 deals together, that's $12,000 a month. Well, that was a pretty dang good income.
Yeah. Yeah. What a lot of people that are newer, I think, don't realize too is, so I'm a rehabber by trade. Typically, we rehab most of our houses, and a lot of our deals are good deals. We make a fair bit of money, but for a business the size of mine, we have a fair bit of overhead too. I do a lot of advertising, I have a lot of staff and office, things like that. But this tends to be the type of business where not every deal's a home run. I mean, I kind of liken it to baseball. I'll use a baseball analogy, is that you should, be able to survive and do pretty well on your regular business just doing kind of base hits. But if you play the game long enough, you hit some doubles, triples, and home runs every once in a while that totally can make your year.
Yep. So then I came across the best thing that ever happened in my life. I found a real life mentor. So my first mentor is Bob Norton, and I'll share with you his contact information when we're done, because that's the guy you're going to want to talk to.
All right.
Bob showed me kiss flipping. This is what he called it, kiss flipping. Keep it simple, stupid. And he showed me how to find deals on the MLS. And this was like 2008, 2009. And I still use it today when I really want to find a deal and flip it. I take the path of least resistance. And if I can spend a couple hours online and find deals, it was a great way to do it. And I still do it today, is use the MLS and just the power of it. And one of the things he taught me is experts make money, and journalists usually make excuses. So I became an expert in a couple little areas of subdivisions, right? Where I knew those subdivisions so good, and I got so good by studying the MLS every day for 2 or 3 hours. So then if a deal showed up, I could really look at that and analyze it so fast and know that this is how much I needed to buy it for, this is how much my typical rehab cost was going to be for it, and this was going to be my potential profit. Before I even bought it, I could make an offer over the phone confidently because I knew my market. And so that was my first real life mentor. And a mentor, you're going to make mistakes in this business. And I think what a real true mentor does is he cuts the mistakes in half.
Yeah.
If you listen to him. And again, my whole thing was I was a copier. I've never been able to recreate anything new. I'm just not that good. I mean, look at me, kind of bald up here. I speak out one side of my mouth. I'm not that talented. Yet I'm a multimillionaire, right? Because all I did was just copy successful people. When Bob said, do it this way, I just did it that way. I didn't try to recreate it and do it my own and make something new. I just said, did it the way he said it.
Yep.
Simple. So fast forward, we started with, in 2009 is really when I really got going made the switch full time. And, we did super deals 9, 10, 11. And in 2011, I started thinking to myself, man, this may not be forever. Because in Phoenix, Arizona, it was one of the hardest hit places.
Sure.
And it was so easy to find deals. I mean, you could throw a dart and hit a deal.
Yeah.
Right? And make $20,000 all day long.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I started seeing a change in the marketplace, though. And then I realized I needed to do something. And that's, one of the things I used to always do is I drive by these apartment complexes, and I used to say to myself, man, I wish I could own an apartment complex. And honestly, that's all it ever was just a damn wish. Mm-hmm. And then one day, and I don't know what it was, I think it was because the market changed. I started out, I drove by the same place that I always looked at, and actually I changed the way I asked myself a question. How can I own an apartment complex? And I just well, crap. And it's it hit me like a ton of bricks. Well, I don't know. What do I know about apartments? I go, I don't know anything. So when I go to the first place, now it's Google, but I mean,
yeah.
I went to Barnes & Nobles and I bought 5 multifamily investing books.
Yeah.
And the last one, I met Dave Lindahl. And Dave Lindahl's my mentor for multifamily.
That's great. Yeah, Dave, I actually interviewed Dave a few weeks back.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to Boston. I'm going to be speaking at his event.
Yeah,
telling
great.
I'm telling you.
Great, absolutely.
Dave, and I flew all the way out to Boston just to meet Dave and have lunch with him, just have a lunch date with him, because he was that important. And Dave, again, has a program that he shows step by step on how to do multifamilies with OPM, other people's money. And again, I'm not a dummy, but I'm not very good at creating stuff. And so I just followed his program exactly like he said, because he was wildly successful. He's a wildly successful business owner, entrepreneur, and coach.
Right.
And so why would I do it any different? So I followed him, and I followed his principles, and lo and behold, I own some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's kind of my story. But a lot of things that we kind of miss in top of the way, just networking wise.
Yeah, I know you're big into networking and masterminds and RIA groups and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about the importance of that in the whole process of kind of chasing your goals, achieving your goals.
One of the things I learned by going on I call it the networking circuit, or when you're buying coaching programs and go to seminars and things like that.
Yeah.
Who's the one person that everybody wants to talk to? It's the guy that's speaking.
Right.
And so I learned real quick that, dude, if I want to be that guy, I better start doing it now. And so I started my own local RIA. So I went to all the RIAs that I'd been to, but then I was like, you know what, why don't I just start my own? And how I did that, and this is a real simple process for teach you guys, your listeners, is go find a title company and find their marketing rep, and a lending company and their marketing rep, and get together, because they have big lists.
Yep.
And have them sponsor you, and they'll do it, man. You come up, and if you can get a good enough topic to talk about, they'll promote you, get you going, and next thing you know, you're a speaker.
Right.
And now you become the expert. You're teaching what you know. And that's exactly what I did, is I taught what I know. And you wouldn't believe how much private money I raised in my own little group, because I was the Baja Rushy. Right? They came to me, and I gave them guidance, and a lot of people don't take action. They sit there and they come and they get frustrated. Finally, I was just approach those types of people and say, listen, I know you got some extra money. I know you want to do real estate, but you've not done anything. Let's just live vicariously through me. Give me your money and let's go do some deals. Yeah. And I'll give you some of the profits.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah. And for a lot of new people, they don't really realize that, especially with single family houses, it's a hustle. It's a lot of work. And I think a lot of the shows on A&E or whatever have kind of made a lot of people believe that it's easier than it is, but this is a tough business. And so, once you realize that there's a lot of reasons partnerships make sense, there's a lot of reasons to work with other people to be able to pull things off. And I know that as a student of Dave Lindahl, that it really takes a group of people to come together to kind of, you can grow faster, you can achieve more if you're working with other people. And I think a lot of folks don't really understand that up front. They think, well, I'll just go do this myself in my spare time.
That's how I started. I mean, I'm sure you did too.
Yeah.
I thought I was I was a handyman hack.
Yeah.
Right. I could do everything about halfway, and I was so tired, and I was so sore, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, gosh, I got to paint tomorrow. And you burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And I'd read so many books that don't ever do the rehab. Don't, sub it all out. Well, when I came to Phoenix and I actually started doing that. And that allowed me to have velocity. Because once I started raising private money, now I had the funds to go buy more than one project at a time. And I couldn't do the work.
Yeah.
And so, and there's I'll give you another tidbit of secret. Can I give you a secret?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So
it won't be that. It won't be just so you know. It won't be. It'll be between me and a few thousand of my closest friends. So
it's okay. Hey, I'm all about giving. Trust me. I could tell you all my secrets today, and I could still do. You would never hurt my business one bit. Trust me, because I know how to do it, and I can do it well, and I'll always do it well. And so and for anybody out there listening, give out all your secrets. I'm telling you, there are no secrets. I could tell 1 million people, and only 2 people would actually take action.
Yeah.
Right? It's good information. But so how do you find your subs? How do you find good quality subcontractors? That's always a hard one, right?
Yep.
I think. You don't find them in the Yellow Pages. You don't find them on Google. Okay? But you do find them on the MLS. And, there's a tab that says vendors, right? There's never a tab that says vendors, okay? But here's how you find them. You go find, usually there's some clues you can see. You're going to look up homes in a certain area where there's a lot of activity, and you're going to actually on the MLS. And if you're not a realtor, you can find a realtor to do this for you. Okay, because you're going to use realtors in and out of business to do transactions. So they'll help you. But you're going to have them filter out. You want bank-owned properties, or you want traditional fix and flips. In other words, you want to find the guys that say not an REO, not a short sale, right? Usually they have that on their tagline somewheres, and that are selling them for the top dollar, and their photos look amazing. Okay. In other words, you can tell they did a rehab. All right, that's key to that company. Whoever's buying and fixing those properties are fixing and flipping, right?
Yep.
That realtor probably knows a couple of the subs. I would almost bet money on it.
Yeah.
Now, all you do is you call that realtor up and you say, hey, listen, I noticed those homes look amazing. And you start building that realtor up, making them feel special, and say, hey, who does the painting there? Who's the paint contractor? And booyah! They're going to give you the goods, man, because why? They want your business too.
Right.
They want to list some properties for you too. And so that's how I found every vendor I've ever needed in this business in Phoenix is through the MLS.
Wow. That's
doing that
tip.
because they're already pre-screened. Hey, I can look at their work by looking at the pictures. I can see if they know what they're doing. The other company that's doing, and if they're a big company doing a lot of volume, right? And you can tell when you know the players in town. You're like, that's a player company. They're doing 10 flips a month. Yeah. Do you want to use their subs? Hell yeah, you do.
Right.
Right? For your one or two that you're going to do.
Yep.
And so I just cherry picked them and found them and just started having conversations. And next thing you know, I've got a drywall guy, a paint guy, a carpet guy, and they all already know the pricing.
Awesome.
So they're used to, they know what the pricing is. They'll tell you.
Yep. Yep.
You know? So that's a beautiful secret how I learned how to source subs by using the MLS. So if you're not in the realtor, just find somebody that is.
That's a great tip.
Actually, I got MLS access a long time ago before I was even a realtor. And I just asked for that too. Because people do things that, if you ask them in the right way and share the business with them, share them profits, you can get a lot of things in this world.
Absolutely.
Arnold would say, break some rules to Arnold.
Yeah.
Break some rules.
Together. So Corey, talk a little bit about, I guess, any advice you have to people that want to achieve what you achieved. They have a passion for real estate investing, but no experience and can't seem to get out of that gate. What's the advice you'd give them to just make it happen?
Try to find a real life mentor. Try to find some place or somewhere where you can get real information of investors that are doing business today.
Yeah.
Like not 2 years ago, not, that's doing business today.
Right.
The market changes all the time, and there's different strategies for every market.
Absolutely.
When I first started in 2009, it was just all REOs, bank-owned properties. Short sales, I didn't even want to mess with them because that takes forever, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the market started changing. So then I started writing my REO offers, but then I started just putting a massive amounts of short sale offers out, and I'd get them under contract, and they were just like incubating, right? And then all of a sudden those deals showed up too. So, and who taught me that was a mentor. A real life mentor said, hey, a good mentor knows how to pull stuff in the future that you don't know yet and kind of bring it to reality. And, that's what mentors do, is they can look into the future and kind of see some trends because they've been there before.
Right. That's great.
So find a real life mentor, and sometimes you got to pay these people.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the most costly advice you'll get sometimes in life is free. And that's like your friends and family and people that you know.
Yep.
A lot of times they give you crap advice, truthfully.
Yeah.
The paid advice that you get from professionals sometimes is really worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Corey, for folks that want to learn more about you and some of the different clubs and groups you're involved in, where should they go? I know you have a couple different websites. Where should they go?
I always like my blog is kahunawealthbuilders.com.
Okay.
and that's where I usually keep up my blog postings. It's not as up to date as I would like to, but we're starting to post more and more recent stuff that we're doing on the multifamily side. I have a long history of the stuff that I've done on the single family side there.
All right.
It's a great place. And then Kahuna Investments is our main website, kind of where my business format is.
Okay, great. Well, we'll add those links down below the video for folks that want to learn more. So, hey, Corey, really appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, I gave you guys enough content that makes some investor out there excited, and that will go out and take action because, we live in America. It's the best country ever where you can start from nothing and have everything you ever wished for. And all it takes is what's between these 2 ears to start working and good people to help you along the way, and you can have everything you ever wanted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Corey, hey, thanks again, and please stay in touch, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye. Are you a member of FlipNerd.com, the most robust real estate investing platform in existence, where you can find off-market wholesale deals and great vendors literally in your market? You can get access to advice from experts and learn about local clubs and events right in your backyard. If not, please visit FlipNerd.com and register for a free account. You can register in less than a minute. It's pretty much the coolest site that's ever existed in the real estate investing industry. So get on over to FlipNerd.com.